We close tonight with a story of renewal. At a time when many Catholic schools are struggling with declining enrollment and rising costs, one parish school in Hyattsville, Maryland is taking a different approach to school reform, an approach that could make it a national model. EWTN News Nightly's Wyatt Goolsby has the story.
From the outside, it looks like any other Catholic school in the United States. Middle schoolers switching rooms between classes, kindergartners led by the hand to their next activity. But inside the classroom, things aren't as typical as they look.
Could you say that with me, please? Theseus and the Minotaur.
That's right, Theseus and the Minotaur. These first graders are writing the names, coloring the pictures, and explaining the story behind the classic Greek myth.
Eaten by the Minotaur.
Welcome to St. Jerome Academy in Hyattsville, Maryland. It's one of the first Catholic schools in the nation to develop and implement its own classical curriculum, and one of the only places you'll find first graders pointing out islands in the Ionian Sea.
It's land that's all surrounded by water. Thank you, Claudia.
4 years ago, facing declining enrollment and funding, the parish community made the decision to switch from a more mainstream curriculum to a classical one.
I've talked to a lot of parents who have become just so frustrated with the testing culture in schools, the prominence of pop culture that's somewhat negative for our students.
Volunteers and teachers, along with scholars from nearby Catholic University of America, united to design a unique school plan. That plan has made St. Jerome's one of the go-to places for educators looking for a unique Catholic take on what's called the Latin Trivium. The Trivium is a medieval education plan focused on 3 disciplines: grammar, logic, and rhetoric.
I think some people look at this and say, this is great. This is helping our children to learn what is good, beautiful, and true.
Nowadays, these students are getting back to the basics. Old school basics.
Vis peccatoribus nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen.
Yes, you heard correctly. Students at an early age are learning Latin.
So we had enrolled them in kindergarten, and we went to the orientation, and the teacher said, well, we're going to be studying Latin. And I looked at my husband and said, yeah, right. We'll see how that happens. But really, at the end of the first year of kindergarten, he had a good vocabulary of Latin words.
Dr. Jem Sullivan, a theologian, is one of many Catholic parents who say it's the classical education with a focus on faith. And salvation history that's prompted her and her husband Scott to choose the school for her son Benedict.
Just the moral development, the moral thinking of right and wrong, understanding the questions of truth and society and how a society was built on certain ideals. Those are things that he's learning in 2nd grade that I think is just wonderful.
And it's been attracting a lot of the younger families, and it's been good for the school.
Father James Stagg, pastor at St. Jerome's, says that since the school and parish adopted the new curriculum, they fielded phone calls from principals and superintendents across America who want to learn more about their program.
Is like coming together.
Many educators say it's not just historical facts or Latin vocabulary that makes the curriculum successful. History teacher Amy Clayton says the school's emphasis on developing critical thinking skills has created a more vibrant classroom.
Our goal is for the children to read well, write well, speak well, and think well. That's the essence. We want them to reach the higher goods, wisdom and virtue.
And that's the bottom line here at St. Jerome, cultivating wisdom and virtue. There's no doubt that nationwide challenges like skyrocketing cost of education are still impacting this growing community. But Father Stack says that St. Jerome's focus on those central values and reliance on the grace of God keep them moving forward.
And I try to focus more on what we're doing on the positive side. I think I've often trusted that the Lord was going to take care of the money. And if we're faithful to what we're called to do, then we'll be able to continue, serving, the people.